There's an idea stuck in the minds of VR enthusiasts who get deep into this hobby. The idea of an interconnected social VR world that connects you, your friends, and even nice strangers you meet to any sort of VR experience you can dream of. Inspired by media like Ready Player One and Sword Art Online, the idea of the Metaverse always seems just out of reach of our current day technology. Some would say, like the developers of big screen social application, it's a fantasy that falls flat when the realities of technological limitations, program incompatibility, and real-life time constraints are understood. But I think the Metaverse is actually a lot closer to becoming a reality, even if it doesn't take the exact form the community has envisioned for it. Rather than a vision of a single creator, I think the Metaverse will be a hub for all the scattered social experiences, gaming or otherwise, that VR currently has to offer, and eventually give the average VR user the illusion of a singular, connected multiverse where everything is possible. This is Jack from Virtual Essays. I suppose I should start off by attempting to define what the Metaverse actually is. And the problem is right now, it's just a popular idea with many different interpretations. You can get a vague idea of what it is both from popular VR media and advertisement who utilize it to mixed success. My interpretation is that the Metaverse is an infinite multiverse that you enter when you boot up your headset and log in. Once inside, you can explore seemingly infinite games, social activities, and experiences waiting for you. You aren't alone in this multiverse. Not only can you bring your friends to explore this vast virtual wilderness, but you can meet others who can show you new areas to explore. It's an idea that is as appealing as it is seemingly inaccessible. If we want to talk about the Metaverse, it's hard to ignore the anime elephant in the room, which is arguably the earliest effort to create something resembling the idea of the Metaverse and everything possible in VR. If you were to guess the largest multiplayer player base that exists in VR, most people unfamiliar with the VR landscape would estimate a more traditional multiplayer game experience, like Pavlov or Population 1, but anyone remotely familiar with the VR scene already knows the answer. It's VRChat. It's always been VRChat. According to Road to VR, it hit an all-time high of 24,000 users logged in at once in 2020, with over half of those being in VR. That dwarfs a lot of its competition. VRChat has over time become the mixing ground where every idea of what would be cool in VR appears in some form with just one small asterisk. Because there's no real quality control, there's no guarantee that a particular experience will be good, accessible, or worth your time to try and seek out. Do you want to go out and try a virtual clubbing experience? That's been made, but there's no guarantee you'll find the right people to make the experience actually worth it, and if someone's avatar won't break the atmosphere you're after. Do you want to watch a virtual concert? They exist, but the quality of them varies greatly. It's the same for any experience you can think of. A drinking game world, a social workout area, a watch party for an esports tournament. Anything you can think of is in VRChat in some form. There's just no guarantees made for its quality or accessibility, since this is all just user-generated content with no rules. This makes some of the worlds in VRChat both entirely unique and completely indescribable to someone who's not familiar with it. The glue that holds the scattered worlds of VRChat together is its portal system. Anyone at any time can drop a portal into another world that people around you can use. This allows you to quickly surf a large number of worlds without losing anyone along the way. There are also portals placed in the world by authors which act as permanent anchors to other worlds. This relatively simple innovation makes it pretty effortless to drag a friend around a number of worlds you found, making the entire social application feel like one universe rather than a scattered mess. However, while VRChat can offer an early glimpse into what content is possible in the future, I don't think something like it will eventually be what the community dubs the Metaverse. And even though there are already VR social apps like it with greater capabilities, at the end of the day, a large portion of the market don't like to wander around endless user-generated worlds to see what's possible. They want to immediately jump into one multiplayer experience they know is good. It's not as though people don't enjoy the quiet moments where you can relax in between these experiences, it's just not what usually people are after in the first place. It's for this reason I see the Metaverse acting more like a hub like Discord that launches you into other experiences than the main experience itself. Like for example, I play Star Wars Squadrons and its Fleet Battle game mode a lot. Now I could just launch the game and hit Fleet Battle, but the quality of teammates I get from them doing that is very poor. Even if their skill level is the same as mine, they're usually not talking or coordinating with me. I usually join my preferred pickup group Discord, find a squadron that needs one more, and start flying with a good squad. I essentially trade a little bit of convenience to get a higher quality multiplayer experience. Over time in the Discord, I have participated in activities other than the main thing I joined it for, and got to know the people there, and did things like watch parties for tournament games, server events, amongst other things. I may have initially joined this virtual space for one specific purpose, but my presence in it has grown to encompass more than that. It has become a virtual third space. I believe an early new metaverse should initially try to emulate this social experience. Let's imagine sort of a far-off sequel to Squadrons. Instead of a Discord server, our central hub is a VR social space. We enter the space, talk to some fellow pilots, join a group, and use VRChat's portal system to launch into multiplayer. Over time, this virtual space could grow beyond its core goal, maybe having a screen showing other members streaming their game, an event board, maybe even some mini games for members to try out in between games when they're trying to recover. Over time, it becomes a virtual lobby that has additional functionality other than its core goal. Now, the question people will ask is, why would anyone choose to utilize this social space rather than using our current set of social apps like Discord, the one I just talked about? Well, in theory, you could build this functionality directly into something like SteamVR itself. It already dumps you into a personal VR world that you can launch your games from. I don't see why it also couldn't be a set social space that you can go back to. And imagine if you could launch not into Squadrons, but any VR title you can think of, with the people around you, as well as jumping into any virtual social space that might suit your needs better using the portal system similar to the VRChat again. You would have access to an interconnected hub area that connects various virtual experiences, like an MMO. Each space would have its own reasons people use them, but there might be some small incentives to stop and visit things outside of your normal routine. While I think people will initially join the metaverse to find people to play very specific experiences like your Pavlov's, Echo Arena, and other games, I think more niche experiences that are just off the beaten path will be found by that crowd. I don't think people are aware of the wide range of experiences already being experimented in VR. There's a fully functional VR art museum that utilizes the medium to the fullest that you can visit right now with friends. It just rarely gets visitors because even though it's well done, it's still a bit niche. In the background, you would be hopping from one program to another, but to you, the end user, it would appear as one endless virtual world. The final question we would have to ask is, what business model would support this experience? And my first guess is the Game Pass model. To the unfamiliar, a Game Pass essentially acts like Netflix but for video games. You have access to a large amount of games you can install for a monthly or yearly fee. There is already a VR version of the Game Pass model, which is called Viveport Infinite. A large portion of the niche experiences and fun, simple multiplayer games are already on there. So really, if they made a multiplayer hub, Vive could make the first metaverse pretty easily if they wanted to. They would just need to build the hub. A more egalitarian approach could be building cross-game portal support directly into something like SteamVR itself, using something akin to Aardvark, an early effort to create apps that appear in every single one of your SteamVR games. The early efforts of this are to create something like a camera that takes screenshots, a pad that displays your chats, but I think the killer app could be a portal system that you can drop into any VR environment that launches a new VR application. This would essentially turn any social VR app into a potential metaverse hub as long as you have all the games you want to launch into. The metaverse is an idea in the VR community that always seems too far away. People think we'll need full body tracking, a much bigger VR market, or even full dive nerve gear before we'll see anything that resembles the idea. But I think the first impactful version of the metaverse is just around the corner. It just requires someone to put together the pieces I see into a cohesive vision. These technological problems that enable a smooth user experience aren't simple to solve, but I think you'll agree it seems a lot simpler than building the worlds we see in the movies from scratch. And overall, I think it'll be better. I don't think the entire metaverse should be owned by a single company. They may be able to provide the hub in the middle, but all the core experience around it should be built by companies big and small, and users who want to experiment. It may not be exactly the same metaverse you envisioned when VR first hit the market, but at some point, it'll feel like it. Thanks for watching. If you want to hear more virtual reality essay content, go ahead and subscribe. And if you have any ideas on the subject I've just posted here, go ahead and talk about it in a comment or anywhere else. I genuinely do mean what I say when I say I make these essays to try to start a conversation. It's still early days, we'll say, for these essays. I don't expect them to blow up anytime soon. VR is kind of small still, so I'm more focused on improving my essay style than anything else at this point. This particular subject took a few drafts in order to convey what I wanted to say pretty cohesively. Hopefully next subject will be a little bit easier, though I say this and watch, it'll take 3 months for me to make the next one.